It almost seems impossible to talk about anything other than the coronavirus. And not that I actually am spending a great deal of my time right now. Anything other than it's okay. Studying and keeping up to date on this. Because I'm a doctor of Chinese medicine, and this virus started in Wuhan, China, and that's ground zero, and I have mentors and physicians that I work with and study and follow who are at ground zero dealing with it. So really on a just medical level, it's fascinating to me. So part of me was studying because of that level of curiosity. Then another part of me has been really overwhelmed, like the rest of us, with the news and social media around it and information, coming from every angle and every flavor, and half of it is dismissive and that doesn't seem right, and half of it's like apocalyptic. That seems a little much, but so we're trying to. And I went, well, I'm dealing with this. And then on a very real level, I have patients who are, whether they are traveling and feel like they're exposed to it, or in a state of real, very sincere fear. I have patients who've been calling me. I work remotely, so I work with people all over the place, and I have people who have spent over $2,000 in the last few weeks on supplies. And that's a big deal, especially when they're people who I know struggle with money. And then you look at what they're spending money on and why they're making those decisions based on what information, right? And we're all going to have the CDC giving us a lot of information, and that's important. But anyway, so here I'm going to read a little so I stay on track. Like most scientists and physicians, I am doing my best to stay informed. It's COVID-19 or the coronavirus, and it is spreading and it is creating major upheavals, whether it's because it's really hitting places or because right now everybody's just completely freaked out. I mean, it is affecting things. How many are all universities in the country as of spring break going offline? A lot of them are. This university is, I know Harvard is, I know a lot of places all over the country are. Conferences where 20,000 attendees were going to show up, canceled. So that just the ripple effects of this and how it's going to affect our economy, our schools, is real, much less our health, which is obviously what we really need to focus on. So, upheavals. There's been a lot of them. There's been a lot of them over the history of the world, and we really have had a pretty comfortable go of it, most of us, for the most part, compared to a lot of people historically, and even right now in the world, places where catastrophic events are happening or have happened. Most of us don't know that kind of state of existence in catastrophe. So when something like this comes up that threatens a level of severity that could affect our lives, it's really a wake-up call. When we're living in this really otherwise pretty comfy, somewhat in denial space, that catastrophic stuff happens all the time, is currently happening in other places, and can happen to us. Maybe not right now, wherever we are with this, but maybe. So that's what this fear is. It might affect us. My bubble might get popped, and I'm not prepared, or my hospitals aren't prepared, or that's real. War is a real thing. War actually really happens. Really, people do kill each other en masse sometimes. Not that long ago, and right now on this planet. We just don't have that. So all of a sudden, if that came to our doorstep, right? Natural disasters are real. Natural disasters really happen in a lot of places, and really can affect people for a long time. And diseases can affect mass populations. It has happened multiple times in history. It's happened on the planet right now, and right now, the one that might affect us. And then here's another one, not to like freak you all out, but they can all happen simultaneously. And they have. And they probably will again, in our backyard or not. This is real. So is the fact that most of us are living pretty safe, healthy lives. And that will still happen too. Right? So, my mom is here again. I love that my mom's been coming to these classes. So cool to have her here. But she can talk to you guys about how long I've been predicting, when did I first start predicting multifaceted major upheavals on this planet?
Long time.
I mean, what age?
18.
Really? That late?
Yeah, I think so.
I wasn't telling her what I was thinking before that, apparently. That's when I had enough courage to start saying the things that I was thinking. So, and it's funny because as we've talked about things, like I really realized back then I was channeling, because she'd ask me things and I'd say, what did I say? And she's like, yeah, you said the date, the year, what was going to happen. And, sometimes I didn't even I wasn't even there. It's been coming through me for a long time. And I never felt fear around these things, even though from a much younger age than 18, I was really seeing and feeling, and I was empathic. So part of me as a kid was like, maybe I'm just feeling things that are going on in the world right now. And then another part of me went, no, this stuff hasn't happened yet. And I'm like, why is this going on? And didn't just like any of you that might have these things, you start dismissing it or minimizing it or honestly, consciously distracting myself from it and not thinking about it, because what am I going to do about it? But I kind of just have always known these things happen in the world. They happened before I was born. They were happening, and then as I always also knew that the reason why I was feeling these things is because obviously I needed to figure out what my role was with it all. And now here I am, right? Doctor, doing my thing that you guys all pretty much know about. And if you're out there, you've heard about why I do what I do and why I think it's important. But much of my adult life has been spent studying and experiencing the world in ways that could help me understand what I was seeing and hearing and feeling. Resonate with anybody else? Yeah. I got a lot of empaths as students. So, how do we honor these deep callings that we have? And really, if you have ever had these feelings, then come on, let's not be too shocked right now. Shit's happening. That's why we came here. We signed up. We signed up for this. We got a job to do. That's why we chose a body. And that's why most of the people listening to this out there or here are teachers, are healers, are social workers, or they're dedicated students and have great respect for their teachers and their physicians. Because we know, we got to sign up and deal with not just a great cruisy life where we're born and everything's rainbows and unicorns and then we don't ever die. That's not it. We're born, we're in a really chaotic, crazy, interesting world, and things die. And some people live a long time and others don't, and how do we navigate this? And how do we help each other navigate it? That's why we're here. So, I have been frustrated with myself, not just lately, but for about 20 years, that I have not yet done some of the main things that I have felt guided to do. And it is, in my opinion, I am not worried about, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, it's going to sound like it, I am not worried about toilet paper and hand sanitizer right now. I am worried that I don't have land with water and food growing. And I am. I'm like, where is there, I can't go to Costco and get that. Right? But, and why? With me knowing since I was a kid, this stuff's happening and going to happen more, because it is. It's going to happen more. When's the last time all the universities in America got closed down? Right? Stuff's happening. right? And I'm like, God, I've known this. Why am I sitting here right now, not on my land with a garden? I would be so happy. So that's been what I've been craving for decades, and I have not done it. And to some degree, I actually, as I sit here, there's people out there that have done it, that are watching this right now, and they are sitting on those pieces of land, and we are connected. And for that, I am so grateful that I have friends who are farmers, that I have patients who show up and give me $100 and a cooler full of vegetables that I then passed on to my patient student because I'm getting on a plane. Like it is, I want to appreciate the sustainability and the fact that I have other like-minded people, that everyone watching this right now I know is resonant. Everybody's sitting in this room to some degree. I am preaching to the choir directors, right? Even my mom's on board now. My guru said she could come and live with him when she was worried the other day. So I've got community, but I want even a better community. So I'm a little frustrated. So all of us right now are living with this state of like, what have I not done? What do I need to do? Right? I got to take care of my mom. She has asthma and lung issues, or she's old and has autoimmune issues, or, how about you had a spring break or you had a conference? And I know people who have lost so much money in the last few weeks that had companies, that had conferences they spent tens of 20s of hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's just gone. Right? What do they do? What do we do? This is a tall order right now, but this is what we're here for. This is what we signed up for. So we take it all in, we let it all go, and we do what we can do from right where we are. People who are in AA, they've got this one down. What are you powerless over, and what do you have the power to change? We got to let go of what we don't have power over, and we got to harness their power to change. Now, I really, even more so in the near future, we are going to see the wisdom and courage of the people who had even better foresight than us. And I just want to say right now, they're far and few between, but it is time to seek those people out who have set themselves up in ways that are truly sustainable through times like this, and support them as teachers and as communities. And I came back to West Virginia saying, we need to build this. Well, part of what I've realized the last week or two is we need to find the people who have been building this and go support them. Find our ways to grow those communities. And wherever you are, supporting local farmers, supporting people who have figured out how to have clean water and how to do things off the grid. Everybody's so worried about what if the grocery store shelves are empty? Well, what if there's no gas at the gas stations? What if there's no groceries at the grocery store? What if utility? I don't know. We don't need to prepare for the apocalypse right now, but it is feeling like that a little bit. And that's fine if we channel that into changing the way we live our lives. So then when the next shitstorm happens, we're prepared. And what is it? It's not toilet paper and hand sanitizer. It's land and water and food and community. It is not isolating ourselves and locking our doors. And I'm not saying, please, when I say this is not medical advice. If we need to be careful right now about if you have immunocompromised systems, and if you're traveling to places where people have sicknesses, we have to take all our precautions. But if we all just self-isolate and go into fear and lock our doors and live like that for when things like this happen, how are we developing sustainable communities that we can get through these together? How are we developing food systems so if there is no groceries on the shelves, we have food? This is where my brain has been going this week. Like, I haven't done that. Damn. If I did that, then right now, I would imagine right now, everybody, imagine right now that this tribe, wherever you are, there's a web right now that your people in this tribe had found some land 10 years ago, built some little houses, had some gardens, had fresh water, had water filter systems, and we'd all figured out sort of how to live and come and go to our jobs, right? We're still in the world. We're not in the world. Maybe we even have utilities so we can flip a switch if we want and enjoy all the luxuries of the grid. But also knew, it's okay, we're cool. We got a fireplace, we got some gardens, a couple chickens, goats, for the non-vegans out there. I mean, then where would you be sitting right now with your 80-year-old mom in your house? How would you be, less anxious? Right? So whatever is going to happen in the next few months with the coronavirus, and I'm not going to do this, so don't get up and leave and go, but I have lots of pages here from ground zero, doctors in Wuhan. I have case studies. I have virologists who have been tracking coronaviruses and strains since the 1970s and all their protocols. And I have the genetic mutations for what this virus is and which receptors on the cells it's targeting, and how Asian people have potentially 5 or more times the amount of receptors for this particular affinity of virus than others, and why young people don't seem to be getting. I'm following it all. And that's important, especially if you are a physician who's going to be treating it like I may be. So I'm on it. However, I do not want this one thing to make me forget again the real priority that we all keep dismissing while life happens. My student yesterday told me, where we were talking about this frustration, why we're each kind of going at it on our own in the world, and how we all want to have a community, but geez, life keeps happening. So this whole build a community thing keeps getting put lower on the priority list, because I just gotta wake up today and go to work, because I just gotta deal with my current heartbreak or my flu or my money situation or my whatever our things are that happen, right? And so it gets put on the back burner, and then what? Right? And I do feel that things are going to get a little more difficult, if not a lot more difficult, on this planet in our lifetime. Viruses, wars, natural disasters, they're going to happen. They're happening, things are escalating, politics are crazy, stuff's going to happen. When does creating a community turn up on the top of our priority lists? And if it's not, really why? What do we really think that we're benefiting from worrying more about? And I'm guilty of this. Right now, I just need to go and make money to pay my bills the next few months. So I have put it on the back burner again. So it's just a conversation I wanted to open up with you guys. And I also really want, did anybody look at the post that Melissa posted? Was it yesterday or today? My fertilizer comment? Mm-hmm. Okay. Most of you, my students, hear me talk about everything in life. We get shit piled on us. We get shit. No one doesn't get shit piled on you. However, not everybody picks up a shovel and turns your shit into fertilizer and plants your damn garden. And then when you start doing that, guess what you need to keep your garden going? Okay? So, what's our shit right now? Coronavirus? Crazy politicians that may be re-elected president? Moms that we need to take care of, and we're not even quite sure how we're going to do that, especially if certain things happen or I don't make that money that I need to go make right now. And right? That's our shit. So let's let this virus give us an opportunity to wake up. Let's be grateful that it's not a nuclear bomb in our backyard. Let's be grateful that for many of us, we're not at a ground zero of a major disaster right now, but we are on the peripheries and things are coming towards us, supposedly, for sure, right? A new virus has entered the world and we're gonna have to see how it plays out and how it affects our systems and our immune systems. So what are the things that we can do? And I think the two are community and immunity. I think that's the two biggest things we can focus on. So toilet paper and hand sanitizer aside, what are you doing to boost your immune system? Guess what yogis do? Pranayama. We breathe a lot. We really get breath into our bodies. We really are all about getting the respiratory process going. Maybe a good thing for an upper respiratory infectious disease. It's so important. It's so important. Really medically, I have to tell you, in my opinion, as a yoga therapist and an oriental medicine doctor, breathing deeply and with therapeutic intention is so important. What we eat is so important. If you are getting hand sanitizer and toilet paper and then stopping at McDonald's for dinner, please know that we need to focus on strengthening our immune systems. And there are so many ways to do this. And thanks to Western medicine, if and when we do get infected, for life-saving antibiotics and surgeries, and those are wonderful things, but how about what can we all do to minimize our need for those things and to reduce the amount of hospital visits, so then the people who really need the hospital are going to have access to it. So I'm sorry, McDonald's. Not sorry. Sorry. Why did I say I'm sorry? Stop with the junk food. Stop with the unhealthy lifestyles. Get healthy, strong immune systems. It's so important right now. It's more important than anything. And this virus, and I can show you all the studies of who is being impacted, who is getting really sick. There are people who are getting the coronavirus and faring well. Okay? This is what's important to remember. People with generally healthy immune systems who are doing good practices. It's, how many viruses do I get exposed to? Every once in a while I get a little sick, but really it's been many, many years since something really kicked my ass. And I'm a doctor and have worked in medical clinics where everybody's sick all the time. So no one can say it's because I did not get exposed to viruses. Okay. Yes, moms, you know this. How many moms? I mean, and I have a friend right now who finally, everybody in her house was sick for 3 months and she's finally got pneumonia. But she was like inundated. I mean, it was, bless her heart, and she did good and she's going to be okay. But and I'm not saying we don't need to be careful. Yes, it can happen. Yes, we have to be on top of it. I've got a mom that I pretty much need to have in a bubble. But not because of the coronavirus, but especially now with the coronavirus. I just have been worried about flus with her because I know her immune system. So yes, we need to do that. But if you are out there in the world generally healthy right now, immunity. If you have compromised immunity, even more important to focus on healthy immunity. And then the community part. I'm really a little worried about everybody isolating. Not that I don't understand why we need to do it and we do need to do it, but please don't forget the other thing that I talked about tonight, right? The long game. If we don't make part of our short game bringing on board that long game, then we are going to jump from one traumatic thing to the next in the next decade or two. And it's just about short-sightedness. So I just wanted to talk today to everybody while we all focus on what's going on right in front of our faces. It's overwhelming and intense. get as healthy as possible, get connected to doctors before you're sick who help you keep from getting sick, and then we'll be there for you if and when you do get sick. This is the ideal way a physician works. In the old days, thousands of years ago, a physician was paid to help keep you well. And then when you got sick, you didn't pay the doctor, they just took care of you. Because you were their student all the time. You were doing the practices, you were listening to them and doing those practices. And so the doctor knew if, well, my student's doing all these practices and then still gets sick, either I'm doing something wrong or something really big is going on and we need to take care of it. And they go into seva, they go into philanthropy, they go into volunteer action. Right? It's a little hard to do that in our culture, but that's what's important. All right, so as I say this, and I'm saying it, this virus will make its way into the mainstream and live in our species going forward. It is happening. That's a reality. Just like many other diseases have, it's going to spread. It will adapt. Over time, it's going to affect hundreds of millions of people. And we don't know how that will go. But based on what we do know in the last few months, healthy people are getting infected and getting better. Okay, so that is going to happen too. So we need to focus on getting as many people healthy. All right, I'm not going to talk about that part. If you guys want to go down the trip of what I have researched, it's a lot, and I don't want to do it in this format. I have a lot of information. A lot of people have a lot of information. I am doing my best to stay sober and clear with the information. I have friends sending me everything from like sound vibrations that are gonna kill the coronavirus to all the Western medical sciences and research and learning which antibodies are doing what and which receptors on cells are doing what and which, in my case, herbs and medicines will help reduce your risk of the infection spreading if you are impacted. So I have that information. I also have the information on the fact that this is a lab manufactured virus from what we know that came out of a lab in Wuhan. And I also have the information about how that lab in Wuhan, China is connected to a lab in North Carolina anyways, I have a lot of information. And I don't know how much of that's really important and why we need to worry about that right now. I just don't think we need to worry about that right now. But because it's my field, I get all the information. So depending on why you need it, and especially if you're my student and patient, we'll talk about that. Okay? How much do we think stress is going to help our immune systems? Let's just remember that. Let's just leave it at that. Immunity, community. Find community that is helping reduce stress. Find community who is helping build a healthy immune system. Hang out with people that are doing healthy things and keeping our stress levels low, even as the world gets crazier. That's important. Yeah, I have 2 pages on that sentence, but I'll just leave it at that. Okay, so I know everybody has jobs and money and houses and utilities, and you need to go to the grocery store, and we're dependent on gas stations, and that's all fine. And I don't think it's disappearing overnight, but let's just keep the long game in mind. All right, I'm getting on a plane. I'm going to see my patients and students in California this week. I'm so happy for big planes with gas. And I'm going to stop and go to Whole Foods right away. And I'm going to go to my favorite restaurants. And I'm going to enjoy the grid. And that's all there. I'm also really talking to everybody about where, if we do all need to hunker down, where do we hunker down? Try and hunker down somewhere that has not McDonald's as your source of food. Get to know your local farmers, right? Go start helping your local farmers. Figure out where the water sources are in your area. Exercise. My favorite new term this week, my teacher Saul said, is healthy self. Heal thyself. Healthy self. Let's heal thyself. Let's work together to do that. Let me know how I can support you. I am doing sessions remotely. I am doing more of them right now for obvious reasons, and because I'm traveling, and I'm happy to share. And let's just come back into our center. Take a few deep breaths. Connect to what's important. Get aligned with other people who are connecting to what's important. Feel your breath. Fill your lungs and your body. Feel a sense of ease as you leave here and go into the world and look on your Facebook pages or turn on the news or however your school or work changes. Let's just come back to this place and think of our long game and start trying to make steps in our short game towards that together. I am with you 100,000,000% every step of the way. Thank you for being with me. Yeah. Can you feel it? Can you feel the connection? Let's come back to this place and connect with each other, okay? Let's just please each take the time in our lives to reestablish this connection. Do not let the stress and fear pull us apart. Let's let the love bring us together. It's all going to be okay. Even if it gets really crazy, it's going to be okay. Especially if we do this. Actually, only if we do this. This is what will make it okay no matter what happens. So, it's going to be okay, guys. I'm with you. Go. Heal thyself. Heal thyself.